Good morning. Today is day 81 on the Pacific Crest Trail. And I'm going uphill. I've been hiking for about 30 minutes. I have a little less than 3 miles up, and then we'll go down for a little bit. Let's do it. Well, we got some snow. So there's water off trail, and I just looked at my map to see, I'm like, I should be getting closer to where the turnoff is. And I see no sign, but I see this little makeshift pathway. So I'm gonna assume this is the way to the water, and hopefully I am correct. Here at, what creek is this? Not that it matters. I don't know, some stream. Anyway, and I forgot to tell you guys. So while I was at Grumpy's, okay, so I met some girls. I think they had been hiking together. I don't know if they were or not, but they were trying to give one of the girls a trail name. And so they were saying that she always like pulls something out of her pack that improves whatever the situation is, whether it's food or whatever. And so they were throwing out names like improvements and I don't know, whatever the names were. And all of a sudden, Beyonce's song came to my head, "Let me upgrade you." And so I was like, upgrade? And so anyway, I saw her yesterday and she was like, I took that name. I'm like, yeah, that's pretty cool. I don't know. It makes me happy inside that somebody enjoyed the name that I chose for them. So, pretty cool. Anyway, let me filter some water so I can get out of here. Okay, so normally after my first break, I will listen to an audiobook. And the first one that I always listen to is, I have a comic book action, like a Bible or whatever, and it's really cool to listen to. Check it out if you want to. Anyway, and there's been so many times where I've been listening to it, and you know, God will do something for the people, and they'll praise Him, and they're like, "Yay, you know, God's for us," whatever. And then it never fails. Time passes, and then they forget that God did those things, and they either start worshiping other things or they doubt whether God can take them through the current situation. And so I'm listening and I'm thinking, gosh, why do they always forget? Like, come on, he's helped you in all these other situations. Why can't they remember that He did that and that He will continue to? And then it just like hit me like a bolt of lightning. And it's like, I do the same thing, you know? I don't try to, but I was thinking back to, you know, all the times where I'm trying to get a hitch and, you know, God provided and someone showed up just right on time perfectly. And here I am in my brain thinking about this next place that I'm getting ready to go to. And because there was a comment saying that they weren't able to get a hitch in the morning and they had to, I don't know, spend $60 on a ride, whatever. I'm over here wondering, hey, am I going to be able to get a hitch? Like, girl, you're doing exactly what those people in the Bible did. Like, forgetting what God has done for you and not realizing and believing that He can do the same thing in the future. Anyway, that came to my brain, so I just thought I'd share that. But, yeah, crazy. So I was hiking, and all of a sudden, that Thai tribute song came into my head. If he did it before, he can do it again. Same God right now, same God back then. If he did it before, hey, he can do it again. Yeah. Anyway, so that kind of ties into the story that I was telling you earlier. Like, why do we forget, man? We be forgetting. Ugh. We have amnesia when it comes to the things that God has done for us. Anyway, I'm done. Gorgeous. Look at Nevada! She's gotten bigger. Goes without saying. Whee! Just got off the bus. Yeah. About to go eat some pizza. Hey there. It is, I should always look before I do this. 9:34 p.m. and I feel like there's so much I need to update you on, but I haven't been recording because I've been around other hikers. But remember how we were talking about how you don't need to worry about stuff? Because initially I was worried about how I was gonna get like a ride into like the local town or whatever, and yeah, I didn't know how it was gonna happen, and I was telling you that Bible story. So anyway, remember I also mentioned earlier about the girl that I gave a trail name to? Well, I kept running into her and her trail family today. And so we passed like each other like back and forth a couple of times. And I think by like the third time, I was like, all right, I have to get everybody's names now. And so it was Paul, Devin, and Emily, and then Upgrade. So anyway, we were hiking and not hiking together. They were hiking together. I was by myself. I ended up being in front of them, and I was thinking to myself, you know, at this next intersection, because this next intersection is where you can either take the first trail to get into town, or you can keep going 5 more miles and take the second trail to get into town. And so I said, you know, let's stop at this junction, and when they come up to me, I'm gonna see what their plans are, because everybody else I've talked to earlier in the day were planning on going, you know, straight through. Anyway, and so they got up to me, and Paul was in front, and I was like, hey, what are you guys gonna be doing? And he said, oh, we're gonna go into Lone Pine. And I said, oh, do you have a ride? And he said, yeah. And I was like, is there any way I can ride with you guys? And he was like, I don't see why that would be a problem. Let me check with the person. So he was messaging the person, and they did have an extra seat. And so I just had to pay $15, and I rode with them into Lone Pine, and then we took the bus from Lone Pine to Bishop, which is where I am now. And I don't know why I'm amazed, but it's so true. Like, we doubt, but God, he shows up for us. Anyway, so I'm grateful. I'm done talking. I hate talking long at the end, but I got some editing to do, laundry, resupply, and I gotta figure out my hiking schedule since I'm not hiking as many miles as I was. So I have to figure out a reasonable hiking plan for this next stretch. Anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys back here tomorrow for kind of an unplanned 0 day.